of course, the first idea I had to for this project on museums, my my first step was to go to museums which were dedicated to art, to paintings. But as I had gone to all kinds of museums since I was a child, I decided that I would broaden the scope of my project, and that I would go to all kinds of museums. And I decided to go to museums about technique, about in Berlin, I went to a museum which was about trains and techniques, and in Milan, I went to natural history museums and so on. In France, we have, and especially in Paris, we have a very, very big institution, which is the Museum of Natural History. And this museum is in Le Jardin des Plantes, the plants garden, which is in the center of Paris, which is close to the Seine, to the river, and which has a very, very, very beautiful garden where there are all kinds of flowers and plants and trees that come from all over the world. And there are very, very big pavilions. It's a very beautiful 19th century ensemble of buildings, and and each one is dedicated to a certain research on knowledge about history of life on Earth. And one is on dinosaurs, another is on plants, there is a zoo, and there is a very, very beautiful place where there are all kinds of animals. I don't know the term in English, but all kinds of animals, comme on dit, empaillés, naturalisés. Well, you know what I mean. And I used to go to this museum since I was, I don't know, maybe 12. And it's a place where I used to go very often, and then later when I grew older, that I really liked a lot, because this museum wasn't renovated at all, and all the collections with skeletons and old animals and all those small papers that were handwritten with the Latin name, and those writings were made in the 19th century. That was so appealing, so exquisite, so great. I mean, and also at that time when I started to go to museums, there were not so many people in those museums, because now the museums have become maybe one of the favorite leisure of people when they travel. When anyone travels to a place, you have to go to a museum. I mean, if you go to Paris, you go to the Louvre. If you go to St. Petersburg, you go to l'Ermitage. If you go to Moscow, you go to Pushkin or to Tretiakov. I mean, you have to. I mean, if you come back from Moscow and you didn't go to Pushkin Museum, you missed something. And someone in France who will have traveled will ask you, did you go to the Pushkin Museum? And but at that time, it was not like that at all. I mean, only people who were very much interested in art used to go to museums. So I used to go to this museum, and I liked the atmosphere of it. I mean, it was something that was very precious to me. And when one day they decided to renovate the museum, I was really so much worried. I mean, I thought, what are they going to do with the museum that I like so much? And this is La Grande Galerie de l'Évolution. It is the great gallery of evolution. And it was done, and now it's one of the most beautiful museums in the world. I mean, it's maybe, for me, maybe it's the most beautiful museum of natural history in the world. I find it even, I don't know, I mean, it's really absolutely beautiful. And the first time I went there, I was very, very worried. It's a marvel. And there is a very, very, very big hall with all those animals which represent the evolution. And there is a light which changes according to the moments of time in the day, and when it's daytime, when it's nighttime, when it's stormy, and you can hear the storm, and you can hear the rain, and the colors change, and it's very, very subtle. It's not like it's not Disneyland. It's very subtle, but it's very, very beautiful. So of course, in my project, I decided to go there. When you go there, the first floor, the underfloor, is dedicated to the sea, because life came from the sea, and there are all kinds of fishes, and there is this shark. And when one day I went to this museum, and I saw someone doing exactly what is on this picture. So that means that a young boy putting his head right in the mouth of the shark. But I was so far away that it was, you know, I was so disappointed. Why wasn't I just close to the shark when this happened? Because it was so funny, and I was so disappointed. And then I thought, my God, if someone was as daring or funny or stupid doing this, putting one's head in the shark, and maybe that this will happen again. So I went to the shark and I waited. I put the right lens on my camera so that I could have the whole shark in my frame. And who knows, maybe a miracle will happen. And I started to wait. Duano, you know, the great photographer, said one day, one of the greatest quality of a good photographer is patience, and to think that against all expectancy, a miracle will happen. So he thought that a photographer should trust miracles. And so I was waiting and waiting and waiting, and I was feeling so bad. My legs were aching. I mean, I thought, you know, I have problems with my knees. It's simply, and I think it's because of my job. I've been a photographer for a long time now, and we carry a lot of weight on our backs, and we all have problems of backs and problems of ankles and problems of knees, and I have problems of knees. So my knees were burning. I mean, I was feeling so bad, but some, you know, some voice in my head was saying, you should wait, you should wait. And this happened. And this is what, you know, like a present, but you earned it, because I waited so long. I really earned that picture. And when I see this picture, I can still feel the pain in my knees, and the rewards that patience can give to photographers.